Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sancia Block. This is Santo Charavino, and today's episode is about appreciating our humanity and understanding loving for ourselves and each other. This is more of a cultural doctrine than a political thing. In a way, it also kind of goes into the spiritual side of being Sancian, but that meshes with being cultural because it's a matter of learning a communal value. Basically, what inspired me to make this episode was in the past several days before this episode, we've had a string of attacks from Lebanon to Paris to Nigeria to Mali. Probably countless more. I think Baghdad was another one. Just there's a lot of this going on, and it makes me think that there's just a lot of wicked in the world. And naturally, anybody with a heart and, even a quarter of a brain should be able to condemn that. But I also wanted to point out that some people may even come across to say that because of things like this, humans are a plague of the earth. They're causing all this death and destruction among one another. And honestly, I can see their sentiments there, but I intentionally have it so that in Sancian eyes, having that attitude basically permits the atrocities of the world to do its job. You find humans to be a plague, then the Holocaust, Columbine, September 11, all those tragedies did you a favor. That's millions less people you don't have to worry about anymore. And these were people who could have been bad in their own way, So, you know what I mean? And that just doesn't sound right to, condemn your own species on the grounds like that. The way I see it, we're not a plague. We're organisms just like every other living being on this earth. And out of some freakish circumstance nobody will be able to explain. Just like nobody's able to find out the afterlife, nobody knows the before life. But as it stands, we have the gift of life. And in doing so, it's up to us to enjoy it the one time we're alive in these bodies. And part of it is to celebrate our humanity, learn to love each other, share that with people, and that's what I want to profess. That is a very important value I want to make in the Sancian core mindset. Almost like if you can't appreciate humanity at any thread, you're not going to make it far being a Sancian kind of thing. Because, like I said, we celebrate, we enjoy, and we love this existence. Celebrate the birth of somebody, honor the death of somebody. There's no reason to go on and say, that humans are disgusting, they're the plague of the earth, blah, blah, blah. Again, like I said, I understand the sentiment, the whole overpopulation thing. All the wars, the crimes, there's no question about it. There's going to be a lot of bad in this world based on specific human beings. But in the end, no. You can't call an organism that shares the same existence as every other organism on this earth the reason for the earth's destruction. Otherwise, what caused it to be this way, How do we classify as animals too? How do we share the same blood as animals? We couldn't have been extraterrestrial, Maybe we just have something heightened, our own gift, that other animals have their own gift. It's, the way I see it, I don't want that attitude permeating in Sancian culture. I obviously can't stop it in terms of free speech because that's even more important. I'd rather have that more than anything else, but, as far as cultural doctrine goes, never mind the political stuff, I'm talking about cultural doctrine. That won't fly. You gotta learn to appreciate, love, and celebrate your humanity, because turning and saying, that we're a scourge, we're disgusting, we're, plague of the earth, nah. Now you're basically permitting the atrocities of the world to have their role. They're doing you a favor, essentially. Even though you might feel out of it, that's your human emotion saying you do care. You know, your own family is getting smacked up because of people who betrayed that family. That's the way we see it. That's the way I want people to see it when they call themselves Sancians. This actually, that reminds me of another thing I gotta bring up, is that in the same vein, that's why another thing I condemn is when people go on hating and hurting themselves. Never a good idea. Never ever a good idea, because now you make the wicked of the world have an easier job, because you are one less piece of resistance that you could have stood up and made the better, and you just submitted to their will, essentially, and that's not right. Sancians want somebody with strong voice to stand up and speak for what's right, and to let, you know, the worst of the world go through like that, make it nice and easy because it's one less person to worry about. That don't fly either. So I know this was a pretty short episode, but to sum it up, love your humanity, love yourself, love others. This is very, like, critical to, like, Sancian cultural value. This is the sort of thing I want to ingrain before I even think of indoctrinating anybody into the or even naturalizing them. You know, just, I want to add a more positive vibe. I want to encourage the power of love. You know, I've already established that I want free speech and people should have a right to feel as they do and speak up. But on a cultural level, that layer, there's the political and the cultural layer. The political layer has already said what it's got to say. On the cultural layer, Sancia wants to provide and encourage an environment of love, friendship, care, just enjoyment. It is one of the values. Mirth, okay? Unity. We're all one. You know, that's already two of the three values, and that's something that's got to be put to place. I don't want to hear anything going wrong about it, but obviously I can't stop it, you know, especially if this is something that's going to be shared, you know. It's just, I just feel that it's the right thing to do, which brings me to my third value, honor. It's the right thing to do. To go on and say that you hate, you know, your humanity is just basically hating yourself and just allowing the wicked of the world to go. No. Either way, like I said, this is a pretty short episode because I really didn't have much to say. But, not to mention I'm actually kind of out of it, but either way, let me put it close to this episode, and when I've come up with a longer one for next time, I'll do it, because I admit I haven't been on this for a while. Alright, this is Santos signing out. Have a good one, everybody.